Hi guys, welcome back to another very important video of React. I'm going to be talking about very important topic called continuous integration and continuous deployment. So you can see that I have actually run and tested my implementation and it has actually passed the continuous integration, build and deployed to the GitHub Pages. GitHub Pages is a good platform to deploy your static sites. We will be building a new React project from scratch and I will be configuring all these things, including the linters, formatting, commit message format as well. So the user or me or anybody who is building the project or writing the code should not be able to push the code until and unless they follow all the rules set by the ESLinter, formatter, prettier and commit message formatter, which I will be implementing. So if I show you all the configuration method which I've set over here, you can see that it has passed all these things. It first installed the dependencies, it ran the linter got passed, it ran the prettier formatter, it got passed, then it checked the commit message format so that nobody should be able to write anything in the commit message like the random text or the no dots or length of commit message is not appropriate. So we can set any rules in the packages which I'm using over here, and after that, once these gets passed, it will be deployed to a specific URL which is provided by GitHub. You can see that this is for the public free version. If you want to configure your deployment to the any custom domain, you need to buy some membership of the GitHub Pages where you can deploy that. All right. So in this video, I'm going to be using Vite for creating a new React project. This is pretty much a new technology. You can use npx create React app command as well to create your project. But I would suggest you to use it. It's pretty simple. It's just different while creating a new React project. And we can have all these different templates which is supported by Vite. So let's go ahead, open up any empty folder in VS Code, and I'm going to be creating a new project using Vite, and the project is going to be React SWC.TS template. All right. So here in the terminal, I'm going to be writing npm create Vite at latest. First of all, make sure you have the latest version of Node and npm installed in your system. Make sure you have at least version 18 installed, because this is what recommended by Vite. If we go up, this is what it says. All right. So here I have written npm create Vite latest, and then I can name anything to the project. So let's give it CI/CD React. This is the name of project. Then I can give -- space -- template. And then I can write the name of the template, which is SWC-TS. All right, so I'll hit enter. So it's going to take 1 or 2 seconds. It's going to quickly create all the different files. So you can see how fast is this to create all these different files and folders for running over React project. But in order to run it, I'm going to go inside this folder of the project and I'm going to write npm install. It's going to install all the dependencies which are added in dev dependencies and in the dependencies object. So meanwhile, it is getting installed. I just want to show you my videos before this, that I've created 4 videos on Docker. Docker is very important and it is pretty much related to CI/CD. So I would request you guys and suggest you that if you want to learn CI/CD, it is very important to learn Docker as well. So Docker crash course, which is the first video I created, it is covering up almost pretty much every topic for beginners who wants to learn Docker. And then I created multiple Docker videos for configuring it in React, Next.js 14 using app directory, MERN stack, full stack applications. So these are different videos that I've created. I would suggest you guys to watch this video as well. Other than this, you can see that I've created pretty much every topic related to Next.js 13 and 14, Angular, Node Express, MongoDB, different tips and tricks, Bun tutorial, different project-based tutorials as well. So it will really encourage me to make more videos for you guys if you subscribe my channel and like this video. Alright, so dependencies are installed in my project. First of all, I want to run the project to see if everything is working fine. So let me clear the terminal first of all. So npm run dev is the command provided by this Vite over here. So this is the project running on this port. So I'm just going to copy it and open it up on my browser. So you can see that everything is working fine. So we are good to go. First of all, I will be initializing my project with Git. I will be committing and pushing the code on the GitHub repository to see that if we commit the code or push the code, it will not run through linters or the prettiers or formatter. After that, I will be start configuring ESLint Prettier and these kinds of packages. So first of all, I will be writing git init. Now the project is initialized with Git. I'm going to go and create a new repository. So first of all, I can write CI/CD or anything React or whatever you want to say. Okay, so I'm going to create this repository. I'll leave it public because I want to deploy it on GitHub Pages provided URL. If we want to deploy it on custom domain, then we can make it private. And even if we want to deploy on the GitHub provided URL, still we cannot do it with the private repository. So for that reason, we need to keep our repository public. These files are already added in my project, so I'll not check any of these. So I'll click on the create repository, and after that I will push the code just to see that everything goes according to our plan. So first of all, I will be committing my changes. Let me clear the terminal for the visibility, and first of all I will be adding it like this, and then I will be committing my changes. You can see that when I committing my changes, it is not going through any of the linters, ESLint Prettier or the commit message formatter. So this is what I will be doing later on. And once I'm going to commit this, I'm going to create a new branch. Let's initialize a new main branch, and then I will be adding the remote over here. Then I will be pushing the code to the main branch over here. So it will push the code to the main branch, and over here if I refresh this page, you will see all the files starts getting visible just now. All right, so we can see that if we go over Actions tab, you will see there will not be any CI/CD running because we have not configured it yet. All right, so let's come back over here, and now I will be installing few packages for the Prettier ESLinter that are required to configure our project with. So in the terminal, I will write npm install --save-dev. I will be installing Prettier. I will write eslint-config-prettier, eslint-plugin-prettier, and then I will be installing eslint-plugin-react at latest. All right, so I'll hit enter. So these packages will be installed and its references will be added in this dev dependencies. All right, so you can see that these are successfully installed and these are added over here. Okay, so after that I will be installing few more packages. So let's install that. Npm install --save-dev Husky, and then lint-staged. So let's hit enter. So these will be installed as well. Okay, so these are added over here. Now we need to configure our files. So first of all, I'm gonna open up eslint.cjs file. So in this file, I will have to add few extra things. First of all, I need to add a couple of things in the extends array. Okay, and then I will be adding a white config file in ignore pattern, white.config.ts, which is added on the left side, you can see. And then I need to add the plugins. Currently there is only one plugin added, but considering that we have installed few packages, so I have added React, TypeScript, ESLint and Prettier in plugins array as well. After that, I need to add rules. So above this, I will be adding this rule, and below this, I need to add the Prettier rule after the ending bracket of this array. Okay. Lastly, I need to add the settings like this. And for the settings, I have actually set the variant to detect mainly. So this is what I have added, and this is pretty much for this file. After this, I need to add couple of more files. One is for Prettier and other is for Prettier ignore. So dot Prettier rc, which is added, and let's create another file. and this is going to be prettier ignore. Okay, so in the prettier RC we can actually write any kind of rules which are suggested by the documentation of prettier. You can refer the documentation and add your own rules as well. So these are the rules which I usually add in most of my projects. So in the prettier ignore we can simply ignore things. So it is not actually created that. The reason is that I have to add dot before this. Okay, so I will be adding these build and dist folder and this file that should be ignored by prettier. Okay, it is not required, but it's just to let you guys know. The reason is learning, so we want to learn things, so that's why I'm mentioning these things. All right, so let's close it. Let's close this file, and after that I'm going to open up package.json file. Above that we have multiple scripts. So here I'm going to add the scripts for linter, which is already added. So whenever I will run npm run lint, it is going to check if there are any linter errors, but I want to automate it on commit message and on push. So I'm going to replace this dot with src. I want ESLint to be run on this source folder only. All the files exist inside it, not any of the files. Okay, so that's why I have added. So after extensions I want to include js and jsx files as well, or you can also add html or css files as well. It's up to you. And after lint, I want to add lint fix command. So if our pre-commit shows any error to the developer, then there should be a command that fixes all those linter issues. So you can name anything to it, but usually I write lint:fix. Okay, so after this we can add ESLint commands. So over here we have added this ESLint dot. I will be replacing it with source. Extensions will include all the files that you think are crucial, needs to be formatted. So after that hyphen fix is very important. It is going to automatically fix a lot of issues and remaining issues that it cannot fix automatically. We need to manually open up those files and fix those issues. And after the lint fix, I'm going to add the format command as well. Format command is used for the prettier. Okay, so this is going to be run prettier, right? And these are all the files included within the source folder. Okay, so these are added. Make sure you pause the video, or you can just write as it is, which I have written over here. Now below, you know that I have already installed Husky, lint-staged, and these are the hooks which I need to add over here. So I will be writing comma, and I'm gonna be adding the first hook using Husky. So I've added this key Husky, and then I've added these hooks, and then I have added this pre-commit. Okay, and then lint-staged, which I yet need to create. And after that I have added this hook pre-push. So these two commands will automatically be triggered on pre-push hook as well. It's up to you. We can add as much hooks as we want to add, but currently I'm going to show you the pre-commit hook, so that before committing we should be able to execute these lint-staged, which I'm just going to add below this. So lint-staged like this, and here this is going to check all these files within the source folder, and it's going to run npm run lint and npm run format commands. Okay, so this is going to execute this particular hook. All right, it is not going to work yet. We need to do some extra steps. So since we have already installed Husky, I'm going to install Husky in my terminal. So let me clear the terminal, and I'm going to write npx husky and install. If I hit enter, it's going to create a new folder .husky, and it's going to create git ignore file. It does not contain anything yet. You can modify it if you want. Husky.sh, which is the bash command, and we can modify it if you want to, if you understand, by going through its documentation, but we don't need to make any change inside it. Okay, so let's close this file. After that, I'm going to add the pre-commit hook, which I have added over here. Okay, so I'm going to run another command, npm npx husky add dot husky / pre hyphen commit, and after that in the double quotes, I'm going to run npx lint-staged. Okay, close the double quotes. So I'll hit enter. So it's going to add a new file inside the .husky folder pre-commit, and it includes this npx lint stage. So it's going to run husky .sh, and it's going to go through all of these files. So now when I will be committing my code, this is going to get triggered. So it's automatically going to go through all of the files within the source folder, and it's going to run npm run lint and npm run format by going through these things which I have just added over here. Now it's time to test over configuration in the terminal. Let me first of all verify. So these are the changed files it is showing currently. Currently you can see that there is no change within the source folder it's showing, and it will not trigger any of the commands which we have written over here, linter or formatter. So I'm gonna go open up the app.tsx file, and I can change anything to it. Let's add ... after this text so that it can trigger some change within the source folder. So let me clear this out, and now I'm going to see what files it is showing. This is just that I like to recheck things whether it's actually showing the changed files or not. Now I'm going to add it. So git add dot, and after that I'm going to commit this. Once I will commit it, you will see that it will start running the linter and the prettier, and if there are any errors within any of these files within the source folder, it will not let me commit the code until and unless I fix those errors. So in the terminal, I'm going to write git commit -m next commit. I will hit enter, and you will see that it will start running the linter, and it has started showing some errors which was expected. These errors are not specific to our configurations, but these errors specifying that there are ESLinter errors. You need to fix that. We can manually open up these files main.tsx and app.tsx and fix those issues, but we have written this lint:fix command which we can run, and it will fix most of these issues automatically. So I can write npm run lint:fix. I will hit enter, and it should fix those errors. If I check git status, you will see that it has changed these two files. That's why these are red if you have an understanding about git. So again, I'm going to run git add dot, and I'm going to run git commit again. So I will hit enter. You will see that it will run npm run lint, which is passed. You can see green tick mark, and after that it ran the format as well. All right. So format automatically formatted the files wherever it was required. So if I go and check the status, you can see that we have successfully committed our changes, and there are no ESLint or Prettier errors according to the configurations that we have set in these files in eslintrc.cjs and Prettier RC file. We can modify these configurations. It's up to you. Now I'm going to push the code to the main branch now, so that our git repository gets updated with these things. So if I refresh this, you will see that all of these files, the configurations files, will be added over here in the GitHub repository for this project. Now, before moving further to the GitHub workflows, I want to configure one more thing, that is to restrict user to follow proper commit message format. So there are a lot of tools. The one famous tool that I'm going to be using is commit lint. So in the terminal, let me clear this out. I'm going to install that thing up first. So in order to do that, I'm going to write npm install, and then I'm going to do it with the dev dependencies object at commit lint / and then I'm going to write these curly braces CLI comma actually, and then I'm going to write config - conventional, close the curly braces. So I will hit enter. So I hope it is going to get installed here. Currently the CLI and the config conventional. All right. So once it gets installed, I'm going to be creating a new file over here. So while it's getting installed, I'm going to come here and create a new file, and this is going to be commit lint hyphen config dot cjs. All right, make sure you actually it's not hyphen, it's dot. Okay, so this file have been created, and this package needs to be installed over here. Let me verify that. So commit lint CLI and commit lint config conventional both are installed in my package.json file. After that, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add some code inside it, and then after that I'm going to add its reference in my Husky folder as well. Okay, so here I'm going to write few rules. For the rules, I'm going to start off with module dot exports equals to curly braces, and first of all I want to extend, so I want to create my own rules, and if there are built-in rules that I want to use, I would have written some things, some built-in features over here. You can refer its documentation. So create our own rules. I will be creating rule, this object, and under this I will be creating the plugins array. Okay, so I will be copy pasting 3 rules over here. All right, so the first rule is referring to the length. So I have set it to 20. So the minimum length needs to be 20, the 20 characters in a commit message. Then I have set this name. This is not set to any value because I will be using regex to verify that. This will be referring to the first letter of commit message needs to be capital letter. Then the end should be ended with a period sign or a dot, you can say. Okay, so this plugin, I'm going to add different rules inside it like this. So I'm going to add a couple of rules for above 2 values. All right, so this one is referring to this same key which I've added above. It is giving me this value. This is actually referring that the commit message must start with the capital letter. This is the error message. If someone is not following this particular rule, this message will be shown. And also if it is not ending with a period sign, then this message is going to be shown in the terminal. All right, so now you can always refer to the documentation of commit link and verify these things. And also you can ask ChatGPT to help you out with any other rule you want to add over here, and ChatGPT is going to help you out. Okay, and once that is done, we can actually install it. And in order to install that, I'm going to write long command in the terminal. So let me copy paste that command so that I don't make any mistake. You can pause the video and you can watch this command. So this is the command I have written. So you can see that I have started off with npx husky add husky commit message npx no install commit lint added, and after that I have written this $sign. Make sure you don't make any mistake. I will hit enter. Okay, so now you can see that it has created another file commit message over here with some values which I have written in the terminal, and it's also going to be running this husky.sh command. Okay, I don't need to make any change in package.json file. So let's save all of these files now. Now inside my app.ts, I'm going to change it so that it can trigger lint. So let's write git status. So you can see that these are the files got changed. And now I'm going to add it. Git add, let me clear this out. Git status, so these files are added. Now I'm going to write my commit message. So first of all, I'm going to make some mistakes. So add new commit. So you can see that it does not follow any of the rules which I have written in my rules file, the commit lint config cjs file. I will hit enter. So it's going to run npm run lint, and it should also run that commit message rules. And now you can see that it passed all the linting, formatting errors, and now it is showing 3 errors, 3 problems. First one, header must not be shorter than 20, starting letter should be capital, and ending with the period. Now let's fix the dot. and now I will hit enter. It should fix up the last error. Now there are only 2 error messages. Now I will fix the capital error. I'm just testing that if everything is working fine. Yes, that is fixed now. Adding a new commit for your understanding. I hope that its length is greater than 20. Let's see. I will hit enter, and yeah, so it was greater than 20 and my commit message have successfully passed. Now let's go ahead and let's push this to the main branch so that we can save our changes on the GitHub repository. Let's refresh. So that config file should be added over here, and still there are no actions added. Now it's time to start writing GitHub workflows, continuous integration that is going to be using the same coding logic which we have written over here for checking the linters, prettier, formatting, and also commit message rules which we are going to write. Now to trigger GitHub workflows, there is a proper folder structure that we need to follow. So in the project, I'm going to create a new folder first of all. So this is going to be GitHub. Inside this GitHub folder, I'm going to be creating another folder. This is going to be workflows. You cannot change the names of these folders. And inside this workflow folder, I'm going to create a new file. This is going to be ci.yml. Ci stands for continuous integration. And in this file, I'm going to be configuring all the rules which I have written in package.json file. Okay, so these files belongs to the GitHub configurations. If you are using any other repository hosting server like GitLab or Bitbucket, they might be recommending to create their own specific files and folder structure for running the actions, automation, CI and CD processes. Because I'm using GitHub, GitHub works well with ci.yml file with these folder structures. You can go through other documentation for other repository hosting servers for following this, but inside this ci.yml, first of all, we need to define the name. We can write anything inside it. So I'm going to write continuous integration. Okay. And after that, I need to define on keyword. On specifies the branch, the type of action which we are doing. So I'm going to write push, and then I'm going to write pull request. Okay, so let me save it. And it means that we want to trigger CI if we are going to push inside any branch, or if we create the PR for any branch against any branch. We need to be specific in the real world application, which I've already tested. So for your reference, I'm going to be pasting some commented code so that you can get an idea. Just ignore these red lines for now. Because I think I'm missing one keyword, which is jobs. Okay, now the errors are gone. Now this part of code on specify that if we push to the branch main, then this CI will trigger. And if we create a pull request against the branch main, then this CI will trigger. But for now, I have added this. It will be triggered for all kinds of branches, whether it's push or pull request. So now we need to write jobs. First of all, we need to define a build keyword, and inside this build I need to define the server. You can check out the documentation, what kind of different servers. The one of the most famous is the Ubuntu latest, so it will pick up the latest Ubuntu version, and this build is going to run on at the GitHub Actions. Okay, so after this runs on, I need to define steps. Okay, so the first step is going to be the uses. This is a very important keyword because this defines what kind of action we are going to perform. The first action is going to be the actions / checkout at v2. Okay, you need to write exactly the same word in the uses, and then I'm going to write with keyword. This part of code is actually required for the commit lint configuration that I have added. So I'm going to write fetch depth : 0. Okay, and what it's gonna do is it's going to fetch all history for all the branches and tags which is actually required by commit lint. Okay, so now after that I'm going to add the name. Okay, so inside the name I need to use the node, so I can write anything over here which is just the name. Okay, so inside this name I'm going to write uses. So actions / setup hyphen node at v2. All right, so indentation is very important, so let me fix some indentation. So I have actually added it here. All right, okay, so here this is what I have added, and after that I'm going to add with node version 20.9.0. This is what I'm currently using in my local system as well. So once that is done, I'm going to be defining another name. So this name is going to have the install dependency, I mean to say. So this is going to run npm install, okay, from the scripts file. Make sure you add the small I over here. Okay, then what I need to do, we need to run linters. Okay, so this is going to run npm run lint, and similar to this, we need to run the format command. Okay, so run formatters. So this is going to run format. All right, so once that is done, we need to finally set up that commit lint. So I'm going to write check commit messages, and then I'm going to use something. These uses values are predefined. There are developers who build these lines, so depending upon what kind of actions you need to perform, you might want to use the values. So for actually checking this out, this is the value which I'm going to write. So commit lint hyphen GitHub hyphen actions and then at v3. Okay, this is going to have the width, and then I'm going to define the config file which I have created, and the config file which I have created is commit lint.config.cjs. Okay, so let's save this file. So there are some prettier issues because of the indentation, so I'm going to fix that up. So this is fine. What we need to do is I need to define it like this. So I'm going to write uses, and then within uses I'm going to define the node version like this. Okay, and this name should be over here. Okay, this seems annoying, but we have to do it. All right, so there are no errors currently in this ci.yml file. I'm not gonna go to the deployment yet, so we are just going to push the code now and see what happens. So I'm just going to press up arrow, git add, and then let's add the correct commit message, again the same one, and then I'm going to push it to origin main. Now let's go and let's refresh this page for this repository. Let's go over here. Let's see if it picked up. Yes, it has picked up. Let's click on the actions, and now you can see that it has picked up ci.yml file, and there seems errors. So let's go. What is the error? To set up job, there is an error for setting up a job. So I'm gonna open this up. Unable to resolve action. This one. So let's verify if I enter the correct name. So this is guide / commit lint GitHub action. So this is action actually, not actions, because I picked this up and there is a mistake. So I'm going to push the commit message again. So git push origin main is going to push it again. Now I'm going to refresh this page again, actions. So it's going to run that continuous integration again. Now I hope that it is going to pass. So let's click this out so that we can verify everything what's happening. So it's currently pulling this in, this uses which I have written. So you can see that it's currently loading. So let's wait for it until it completes the continuous integration process. All right, so you can see that it has completed all the checks which we added over here using the names, and there is a green tick icon, means that our continuous integration is successfully passed in our GitHub Actions. So before moving forward, I just want to request you guys that this is my WhatsApp channel with the same name as my YouTube channel. If you can follow this channel, it will be really encouraging for me, and I provide latest updates and all the tips and tricks related to programming in this WhatsApp channel. You can get the notification quickly. Okay, so now I'm going to configure the continuous deployment now. So in this project, what GitHub suggests us is to create a file with the name deploy.yml. So I will hit enter. Currently, let me close all of these files. Okay, so this part is very important because everybody wants to automate the deployment for their project. So first of all, just like I have done in ci.yml, what I'm going to do is let me copy everything from here. Instead, let's start off by copying the name continuous deployment. All right, so let's come over here, and then I'm going to write copy the on. So when the deployment should start working, so I want it to build my project first, and then I want it to deploy after that. Okay, so this is going to be for the jobs actually. Okay, then above this, I need to define when this build and deploy needs to be triggered. So on, and after that, I will be writing the push, and then I need to provide the branches. So let's add the main branch only. Okay, we can replace this branch with any other branch for against which we want to build our project and start triggering the deployment. Okay, so below this I can run runs on, and again I can write Ubuntu latest. Okay, so below this I can write steps, uses, and here I can simply write actions / checkout at v2. Okay, so after that, below this I'm going to write with enter. I'm going to write persist credentials. Okay, this is going to be the false. Then I'm going to install the node, so I can simply copy it from here. So use node. So let's copy the whole stuff. So I'm going to paste this. Let's bring it back, all of these things as well. All right, so these are set up. It will install the node first of all, and it's going to use this action, and then it's going to set up the node variant for this. And after that, I'm going to install the dependencies. So we can also copy it from here. So let's add like this and like this. We can add a space for better understanding and for better reading. And after that, what we need to do actually, if I open up the package.json, you can see that there is already a script called build, which we can use. So since we want to build our project, we want to run this command. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Let's add over here. So this has been added. Now I'm going to change the name of it. So build, then I'm going to run npm run build. What it's going to do is it's going to build our project and create the static files for our project, because GitHub Pages only works well for the static projects. When you have a project like Next.js that have server-side rendering, then it's not recommended to deploy your project on GitHub Pages, even on paid versions as well. You might want to use Heroku, AWS. That's pretty much fine to support the server-side rendering kind of thing. But React works well since it creates all the static files when we build our project, and we have not implemented any server-side rendering in our React project. Okay, so now I'm going to add the deployment stuff over here. So first of all, I'm going to write the name. So this is where the main thing starts. So name is going to be the deploy to production URL. We can write anything to it. And after that, it is not required actually, but in some cases, you might have a main branch for production deployment. You might have the staging branch for the deployment to the staging URL. You might have development branch for deployment on the development URL. So this is the reason I'm trying to help you out in case you have different requirements than me. So first of all, I'm going to write if is going to check if github.ref equals to colon refs slash head slash main. Since I have only main branch, that's how I have written main. And after that, it is going to use something which I've already got from the documentations. So which I'm just going to copy over here. This is something and this is already built. You cannot change its name. Okay, so this works well with deployment for the GitHub pages. Now after that, I'm going to give it the branch name. Okay, branch name, it is going to be the GitHub pages. So what happens is when this action actually runs, this will automatically create a new branch with the name GitHub pages, GH pages actually, GH-pages. So this is going to be the branch which contains all the code specific to the folder which will be created by this build command npm run build. Okay, I know that it will create a dist folder, and this branch is not going to contain all the folders exist in my code. It is only going to contain the static files which exist in the dist folder. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is let me give you a reference. So let's say that let's try this out. So here there seems some kind of error, so I need to add space up before this actually. All right, so I'm done. Now let's try to push the code and see what happens. I'm going to come in the terminal and let's try to commit the code with the same commit message. And now I'm going to push it to main branch. Okay, it's going to first run the continuous integration because it doesn't know what we have done. So it's going to verify all the files. And after that, it's going to pick up the deploy.yml. Now, if I refresh this, let's see what happens. Let's click on the actions again. You can see that it has actually run the continuous integration below. And after that, it has parallelly runs continuous deployment. All right. So I hope that the continuous integration is going to be passed just like before, but let's see if it passed the continuous deployment or not. So I'm going to open up this particular URL. So there seems an error. Let's see, the deployment step encountered an error, process user bin failed with exit code 0. So let's debug this. Okay, so let's see where we have got wrong. Let's go up. This one, configuration, deploying using token, configuring this one. So there seems permission error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings of my repository and I'm going to go to the actions. I'm going to go to the general And from here, workflow permissions, I'm just going to check this toggle and I'm going to click save. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into the action and let's go inside it. And here I can click on build and deploy. Let's click on that and rerun failed jobs. So it's going to rerun this failed job which is failed. Now let's see that if it throws that permission error or not, because I have given all the read and write access to it. Let's click on it and start checking out that particular thing. So here you can see that it has passed all the names, all the actions which we have written over here, and there is a green tick sign over here. Great. Now if I click on the settings and I'm gonna go to the pages, and from here I'm gonna select this GS pages branch, GH pages, which is created automatically through this GitHub workflow. I'm gonna click on it and I'm going to select /root and I'm going to click on the save. So once I'm gonna click on the save, I'm gonna go to the actions. You can see that it has started another action. Pages build deployment have been started. So let's see what happens here. So if I go over here, it's currently processing. So the deployment is successful. It is showing the green icon over here. I'm going to click on the settings. Let's go to the pages, and at the top it's saying that your site is live at this particular URL. So this is the repository name. Actually I wrote cd. It has to be CI/CD. It's just the repository name. You can ignore that. So if I click on the visit site now, all right, so currently you can see that it is showing the blank page, but it has loaded the correct title. If I open up the source and open up the app.tsx file, actually index.html, you can see that it has picked up the correct title, but it is not picking up the child components for my React project. One thing that we can do, I'll come back to deploy.yml file. There are more things that I would like to explain you guys for learning purpose, which is not required for the purpose of this video, but for learning purpose, those things are very important as well, considering this if condition. So I'm going to open up the white.config.ts. So in this particular thing, I'm going to add, since our home page is not deployed on the home route, we have this particular repository name as well. This is something which we need to write over here inside this config. So I'm going to write base / and the name of the repository, then / okay, within these single quotes. So I'm going to save it and I'm going to push the code again. Git commit -m and then git push origin main. Okay, so I have pushed it again. Let's go over here and I'm gonna click on the actions again. It's first going to again process the continuous integration, continuous deployment, and once these are gonna be successful, it's going to process the deployment which we have done in our settings tab over here, this pages. All right, and let's see what happens. So this continuous deployment is successful, which is perfect, and this will be successful as well, and it has started deploying it on that particular URL. All right, so let's click on that. So it's currently processing. If you want to see what's happening inside it, what's happening behind the scenes, you can click on each of these and see all the processes it is using to deploy your website on GitHub Pages. All right, so I'm gonna open up the settings now. Let's go to the pages. Let's click on the visit site now. Let's refresh it. All right, so we can see this component is loaded on this particular URL and we have successfully deployed our website using continuous integration, continuous deployment on GitHub Pages, which is perfect. Now, lastly, I want to explain few more things which will be helpful for you guys considering what requirements you need to follow. So over here, since you know that I have added this if condition, okay, just like this, I can add another name. Let me copy this here, and now I'm going to paste this over here as well. So let's bring it back. And if we have some kind of like development branch, okay, then we can actually write an if condition over here. We can write the same uses action over here, and this is going to be the different branch, but this particular uses might not work in this particular case. For making it work, I'm gonna be copying another uses thing over here. So this is going to be this is what I found from one of the article, or you can say the documentation. And after that, I'm going to use this with. So this is what I've already written. Let me uncomment these. All right. So now what it's doing is I'm not going to push the code considering this because I don't have any development branch yet, but this is the code which you would need if you have different branches, and this branch needs to be automatically created, and then you can select by going to the GitHub Pages and select this branch. But for configuring all these things on multiple branches, multiple URLs, you need to have paid plans of GitHub Pages. Okay, I'm just giving you an idea how you can work with this. Again, it's looking into the dist folder which will be created through npm run build command, and this branch is going to get automatically created. You can write similar thing for this part as well, but in this case you had to write the only GH pages and everything would work as it is. So let me quickly show you what happens if I manually run npm run build. It's going to generate the static files for my project, and you can see that it has created this dist folder and it has created this assets folder. So this is the minified files. Okay, so this should be running from here. All right, so here this is going to be deployed on the GitHub Pages. One more thing I would like to explain you, where do I get all these things? Let's say that you want to deploy your site on AWS or Heroku. This is the reference which you can refer. So I'm going to write GitHub Marketplace. You can go through it. Let me open this up. And this is the GitHub Marketplace. There are a lot of things that you can go over here. If I go to the deployments, and here these are all the different hosting providers which you can use. And if I simply write Heroku over here, you can see that it's giving us this Heroku build and Heroku deployment. I can click on the Heroku actions, and this is what it gives us. This is what we can write in our deploy.yml file on the GitHub actions. So we need to use this. We then need to use this one. Then we need to create a new account, create an app in Heroku dashboard, and we need to write our email ID. We need to provide the Heroku API key over here and the name of the app which we will be creating. And this part of action is automatically going to deploy our site on the Heroku. And again, if you face any kind of error, you can always check out and discuss it with GitHub. Simple as that. So this is how it works. This is what I refer when I need to write continuous integration and continuous deployment. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have learned something new in this video. If yes, do subscribe my channel and like this video. In the next video, I will talk about configuring continuous integration, continuous deployment in Next.js 14 project. So this is going to be a very important video. To stay updated, do subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon as well so you get the notification for upcoming videos.